betroth you to me forever. I will betroth you in righteousness and justice and love and compassion. I will betroth you in faithfulness, and you will acknowledge the Lord. In that day I will respond, declares the Lord. I will respond to the skies. They will respond to the earth, and the earth will respond to the grain, the new wine, and the olive oil, and they will respond to Jezreel. Jezreel means God plants. I will plant her for myself in the land. I will show my love to the one I called not my loved one. I will say to those not my people, you are my people, and they will say you are my God, by their actions, right? And they needed to have earned it by obeying God through me. I'm sure we can all agree that's fair. They try to make it so I sound like shady when I say that sometimes, okay? And obviously that's stupid, because obviously there's no other way it could be that I'm very, very sincere. Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. This video is about Hosea chapter 3 and 4. We just finished up with Hosea chapter 2. Hosea's reconciliation with his wife. Now before we get into this, keep in mind that Satanists interpret this in a very dark and disgusting way. After I explain this right now, you might want to pause the video and take a walk or something, and then come back, because this has to be said. They interpret it as they think, not me, they think that they should do what is detestable, which is to take the attractive women and let the detestable devil do what is unthinkable, which is to have his way with her and then give them all back to the righteous guy later. It's part of why people have sex before marriage. They get passed around from all kinds of unsavory people, right? Various groups in society are very much pronounced in popular culture for doing it. They're like a distraction, and almost every group, if not every group, is doing it. They're taking advantage of attractive females, and they're then going to give her back to some guy who is a Luciferian as well. Okay, so it's the Luciferian doctrine and ideology and interpretation that we see the rest of the world practicing. Okay, with that being said, Hosea's reconciliation with his wife. The Lord said to me, go show your love to your wife again. Though she is loved by another man and is an adulteress, love her as the Lord loves the Israelites. Though they turn to other gods and love the sacred raisin cakes, so I bought her for 15 shekels of silver and about a homer and a lethek of barley. And I told her, you are to live with me many days. You must not be a prostitute or be intimate with any man, and I will behave the same way toward you. For the Israelites will live many days without a king or prince, without sacrifice or sacred stones, without ephod or household gods. Afterwards, the Israelites will return and seek the Lord their God and David their king. They will come trembling to the Lord and to his blessing in the last days. Now, is this something that people should do in a calculated manner? No. They're supposed to obey God through me. If the churches actually serve God, they would obey God through me and not follow a script who they don't even know who wrote it. And they know Romans, who are full of treachery, authorized it, and were like the determinant in determining what books went into the Bible. Okay? So when you look at this, they're supposed to just scramble right away and obey God through me. And after my flesh dies, there's no restoring the divine order. They have a neo-colonial Luciferian doctrine where they try to do it in a way that whites, Jews, and crypto Jews and token minorities can rule over other people, and they feel like they're doing it on God's behalf, and that's an abomination. If you want people to tell it that way, you might want to go to a different person, to hear their argument about what they think the Bible is. But I deal in truth, and I actually do God's work, and I don't care if it kills me and everyone on this planet. I'm going to do God's will. Hosea chapter 4. The charge against Israel. Hear the word of the Lord, you Israelites, because the Lord has a charge to bring against you who live in the land. There is no faithfulness, no love, no acknowledgement of God in the land. There is only cursing or pronouncing curses. Lying and murder, stealing and adultery, including cheat me out of my right to lead, all this murder and all this stuff that's going on, people starving to death, what have you. They break all bonds and covenants, and bloodshed follows bloodshed, right? It's never enough. War after war, starvation, gang violence, rape and murder, domestic violence and child abuse, on and on. It's never enough. They just won't stop. Because of this, the land dries up, and all who live in it waste away. They don't have the water of God, the water of life, the water of righteousness. The beasts of the field, the birds in the sky, and the fish in the sea are swept away. But let no one bring a charge, let no one accuse another, for you people are like those who bring charges against a priest. You stumble day and night, and the prophets stumble with you. So I will destroy your mother. My people are destroyed from lack of knowledge, knowledge of God, not tree of knowledge rubbish, not Freemasonry, not science, not this stuff, but good old-fashioned insight, discernment, wisdom, knowledge of God, knowledge of what's right by living what's right. Because you have rejected this kind of knowledge, I also reject you as my priest because you have ignored the law of your God. I will also ignore your children, right? So after my flesh dies, because they did it in a calculated manner with social engineering, because they went so far to lie and cheat and steal, and they've even tried to cheat me out of my right to lead, they'll be cut off, and so are their children. No one will go to heaven after my flesh dies. Okay, unless those people who have obeyed God through me in time, and no one should reproduce no matter what. The more priests there were, the more they sinned against me. They exchanged their glorious God for something disgraceful, like in America, 380,000 churches, 20,000 denominations. Why aren't they doing what's right? They feed on the sins of my people and relish their wickedness. And it will be like people, like priests. I will punish both of them for their ways and repay them for their deeds. Okay, they're being repaid for what? Their ways and deeds, right? Their deeds. Not them not believing enough. The idea is these people basically believe in God, but they think they can do what they want. The problem isn't that they don't argue that they have faith. The problem is their deeds prove that they don't have faith. They will eat but not have enough. They will engage in prostitution but not flourish, because they have deserted the Lord to give themselves to prostitution. Old wine and new wine take away their understanding, right? Their cultivative cycle, their cultivative process, what they fight for, what they die for, what they live for. The wine is the blood, right? Like mass, communion. My people consult a wooden idol, and a diviner's rod speaks them. A spirit of prostitution leads them astray. They are unfaithful to their God. So that spirit of prostitution is various forms. The gold digger, the chick with a racial imperative, financial imperative, culture-based imperative, instead of dating with a scale of moral precision, right? They're prostituting themselves to their emotions. They think some guy's cute. Maybe the machine, maybe the technology the government has is or will hack their brain and get them to like someone they otherwise wouldn't. They're just prostituting themselves, fair weather, just all emotions, no principles. Unprincipled, undisciplined, and in a spirit of prostitution in its various forms. Unfaithful. They sacrifice on the mountaintops and burn offerings on the hills under oak, poplar, and terebinth, where the shade is pleasant. Therefore your daughters turn to prostitution, and your daughters-in-law to adultery. I will not punish your daughters when they turn to prostitution, your daughters-in-law when they commit adultery, because the men themselves consort with harlots and sacrifice with shrine prostitutes. A people without understanding will come to ruin. Again, this is written by Satanists to confuse you. Yes, they're being punished. You think magically they're not going to get punished for their sins? Male and female alike will be punished, right? There's no male or female or Jew or Gentile. Okay, you're all one in Christ Jesus or you're not. So don't let that confuse you. Though you, Israel, commit adultery, do not let Judah become guilty. Do not go to Gilgal. Do not go up to Beth Aven. Beth Aven means the house of wickedness, a derogatory name for Bethel, which means the house of God. Bethleham, right? The house of Ham, right? Bet-hel-ham. Belt-he-ham, okay? The belt of righteousness and faithfulness in Isaiah 11:5, okay? Kuro Obi, black belt, the belt of, focus, moral intensity, the Royal African Falcon, top martial artist order, argument of universal pinpoint of moral precision, focus, moral intensity, in spite of the racial oppression that people are putting out there to kind of confuse us. And do not swear, as surely as the Lord lives, the Israelites are stubborn like a stubborn heifer. How then can the Lord pasture them like lambs in a meadow? Ephraim is joined to idols, leave them alone. Even when their drinks are gone, they continue their prostitution. Their rulers dearly love shameful ways. A whirlwind will sweep them away, and their sacrifices will bring them shame. And again, it's figurative, right? It's not a literal whirlwind, it's figurative.